What is up, everybody? It is I, Ronin. And today I'm coming at you with learning how to play of another deck that I am a pretty big fan of, Abyss Actors. So if you don't know what Abyss Actors are, they're basically early Arc V archetype, and they were pendulum based, and they have these things called the Abyss scripts. That's sort of their gimmick. They have Abyss script, Abyss props that do something, and when they're destroyed, so long as you have a face-up Abyss Actor Pendulum monster in your extra deck, they do something else. So they got some new support, like, I want to say it was a few, like maybe 6 months ago at this point. I'm not exactly sure off the top of my head, but it's all pretty cool, and I wanted to have a little bit of fun. So I decided to go back in, rebuild, now that I'm a little better with pendulums, and actually came out with a pretty fun deck. So real fast though, gonna go over the deck profile, starting with the monsters, which is our primary lineup. We have free Mythical Beastmaster Cerberus, free Abyss Actor Superstar, free Abyss Actor Mellow Madonna, two Mythical Beast King Jackal, uh, free Chronograph Sorcerer, free Abyss Actor Wild Hope, free Abyss Actor Curtain Risers, one Time Gazer Magician, and free Abyss Actor Comic Relief. So we'll start with sort of the thing about pendulum decks that I discovered. A big portion of it has to be centered around getting to Electromite. That's what the Mythical Beast and the Chronograph Sorcerer are there for. So Mythical Beastmaster Cerberus, as you can pop him in the scale, so long as he is the only scale you have, to add a Jackal King to hand, or King Jackal, or Jackal King in CCG, okay. And then you can activate Jackal King and pop him in the scale, so long as he's your only scale, to summon back Master Cerberus from your extra deck. So that's one extra deck monster for you, or one pendulum monster for you right there, ready to go. Then we have Chronograph Sorcerer, who you can pop in the scales pretty much any time during your turn to summon a Time Gazer from deck or hand. So we only need it at one, thankfully. And yeah, it also can special summon itself if you want it to. Hardly ever comes up, but that's something you can do. And that's another free pendulum monster for the two pendulum monsters required to make Electromite. So that's basically our Electromite engine. We also have a few normal summons we can make. The only thing that helps with the Electromite engine in our situation is Abyss Actor Curtain Riser, who once per duel can special summon himself from the scales so long as you control no monsters. So yeah, run those at max copies if we can, except for King Jackal because you only really need two. But yeah, so that's basically our Electromite engine, and the rest is Abyss Actor flavoring. So we'll start with the boss monster of the archetype, Abyss Actor Superstar. It's a pretty simple card. When it's normal or specialed, your opponent can't activate spell or traps effects, so they can't like strike your pendulum summon, for example, if a Superstar is part of it. And once per turn, it lets you set a Abyss Script spell directly from your deck, but it's sent to the graveyard during the end phase. So that ability to set things from deck makes going second very easy, as well as going first a little bit easier. But yeah, Superstar is very good, low scale though, so keep that in mind. Now we have the best Abyss Actor Mellow Madonna. So it's a 0 scale, which is pretty sweet, and its pendulum effect lets you pay 1,000 once returned to add a Abyss Actor pendulum monster from your deck to your hand, except itself. But however, you are locked into Abyss Actor monsters for the rest of the turn, even if it leaves the field as a hard once per turn. Its monster effect, it says it gains 100 attack for each Abyss Script spell in the grave. And when a pendulum monster is destroyed by battle, you can special this card from your hand. And if a Abyss Script spell is activated while this is on the field, you can special summon a level 4 or lower Abyss Actor Pendulum monster from your deck, but returns to the hand during the end phase. So, special summoning from deck, searching, chump blocks, becomes somewhat of a beater. It's pretty good, really. So, run it free, searches your other scale if you need it to, but you're going to see that. And then we have Abyss Actor Wild Hope, level 4, 1600 attack, 1200 defense. with the scale effect to turn the other Abyss Actor scale, other than itself, that is, into a scale 9 for the turn, and it locks you into Abyss Actors as well. And when its on field effect lets it gain 100 attack for each Abyss Actor monster that you control with different names until the end phase. And if it's destroyed by battle or card effect, you can add a Abyss Actor card from your deck to your hand, except for itself. So a cool combo you can do with this is pop it with Electromite. So you'll get the search off of it, and you'll get the Electromite draw. So that's a pretty cool thing you can do with that. And our last Abyss Actor is Abyss Actor Comic Relief. Probably, the, weirdly enough, the funniest card in this entire deck. So it's a scale 8, which is pretty nice. And it lets you, while in the scale, you can target a Abyss Actor monster you control and a monster your opponent controls to switch control of those targets. Then you have to pop your Comic Relief, though, in the scale. So, this is really good because it lets you do funny things with stealing people's monsters, but it also sets you up with a Abyss Actor Pendulum monster in your extra deck so that you will have the pop effects of your Abyss scripts. It does have a monster effect though. You take no damage from battles involving it, and once per turn during the standby phase, you give it to your opponent. And if once per turn, if control of it was shifted, the owner of this card, like not the person who literally owns it, not the person who controls it, uh, can pop one of their set Abyss Script spell traps. So it's a good way to activate your Abyss Script spell traps, the nuts effects that happen when they get popped. Uh, your opponent really can't do much with it, but yeah, it's pretty good. So that's our monster lineup. Our spell lineup, on the other hand, mostly Abyss Script stuff. So, but let's go over the generics. So first, Terraforming to search the field spell, which is really good, and Allure of Darkness at free because we were running all dark monsters, so draw power is nice. Beyond that, though, we have Abyss Script free, Abyss Script Rise of the Abyss King, 2 Abyss Script Opening Ceremony, free Abyss Script Romantic Terror, 1 Abyss Prop Wild Wagon, and free Abyss Playhouse Fantastic Feeder. So we'll go over them in terms of their. I'll just start at Rise of the Abyss King. This is kind of the insane one that you want to search. So on activation, this isn't a once per turn card, by the way, so you can do it multiple times. Lets you target face-up cards on the field equal to the number of face-up attack position Abyss Actor monsters with different names that you control. And if you control a level 7 or higher Abyss Actor monster, it becomes spell speed 4. And if while it's set, it's destroyed by an opponent's card effect. If you have, and all, just gonna preface this, all these destruction effects, you have to have a face-up Abyss Actor Pendulum monster in the extra deck to do them. So, just gonna get that out of the way now. Just assume that is on all of the Abyss scripts that I say have pop effects. So this one's pop effect is it lets you add 2 Abyss Actor cards and or Abyss script spells with different names from your deck to your hand. So it's a +2, so it's pretty good stuff. Opening Ceremony on its regular effect lets you gain 500 life points for each Abyss Actor monster you control, and its popped effect lets you draw until you have 5 cards. This one is a hard once per turn, though. Keep that in mind. Not like Rise of the Abyss King. But yeah, so it's a good way to gain life points. It matters a little bit, but the draw 5 effect is pretty nice if you can get it off. Then we have Romantic Terror. This one's a quick play, and it has a pretty neat effect. So it lets you return a Abyss Actor Pendulum monster you control to the hand to special summon a Abyss Actor from your extra deck in defense position. Uh, it has to have a different original name though, so yeah. And if its pop effect lets you set any number of Abyss script spells directly from your deck. Hard one's return, so it's pretty good. Wild Wagon is a little bit of a weird choice, so technically it's not a Abyss script, it's a Abyss prop. Uh, but it's a continuous spell. Its first effect, says that each time a Abyss Actor monster you control would be destroyed by battle each turn. It is not. Once per turn, it lets you target a Abyss Actor monster you control to make it untargetable with card effects until the end of their turn, and even if this leaves the field. And its popped effect is that it returns all cards your opponent controls to the hand. So, not a Abyss script, so you probably don't want to run it at more than 2, but it's still pretty good, solid. And now we have the main bit of disruption for the deck, Abyss Playhouse Fantastic Feeder. So it is a field spell. Uh, and once per turn, it lets you reveal a Abyss Actor Pendulum monster and a Abyss Script spell in your hand to add a different Abyss Script spell from your deck to your hand. And while you control a Pendulum summoned Abyss Actor Pendulum monster, any monster effect activated by your opponent becomes destroy one set spell trap your opponent controls, and each of these effects can only be used once per turn. So again, it sets up Abyss Script pops for you, lets you search Abyss Scripts themselves, and rewards you for Pendulum summoning. So it's a really good card. Really, really solid. But yeah, that does it for the main deck. Now for the extra deck, which is a good bit more generic, unfortunately. But let's just go over real fast. So we have Free Witch, because these are all dark monsters that we're dealing with. Nightmare Package, because good removal. Our one of Electromite, because every Pendulum deck needs a Electromite. 2 Zephyr Metaltron, because every Pendulum deck could use this as their link free. We've got great arrows and protects extra deck 7s. And we have a few rank 4s as well. Gaga Cowboy to win in time or go for game. Baguska, stall. Our Utopia set to eliminate some problematic monsters. And 1 Red Eyes Flare Metal Dragon, because we have the potential to make some rank 7s if we wanted to. Also some rank 6s if we wanted to, now that I'm really looking at it. But yeah, it's a good thing to have. If you can make it first turn, it's pretty sick. And now for our side deck, we have free Radian because it is a dark kaiju. Free Twin Twisters because spell trap removal is nice. 2 more Wild Wagons in case we go up against battle heavier decks. Free Called by the Grave because searching is something we like to do, and if our opponent uses a lot of hand traps, good to have it. 1 Abyss Script Fantasy Magic. So what Fantasy Magic does, lets you target a Abyss Actor monster you control, and this turn, every monster that it battles but is not destroyed returns to the hand at the end of the damage step, so good for dealing with weird things that can't be destroyed by battle. And its popped effect lets you target 1 card your opponent controls and place it on top of the deck. Probably the weakest or second weakest pop effect of all of the Abyss scripts, but the removal is good to have in case they're annoying, cannot be destroyed by battle type deals. Then we have free Abyss script Fire Dragon's Lair, so its regular effect lets you target a Abyss Actor monster that you control, and if it destroys an opponent's monster by battle this turn, your opponent banishes free monsters from their extra deck that they choose from, and its popped effect is that you can look at your opponent's extra deck and banish a monster from their extra deck. So yeah, it's good to, I don't know, it's a questionable choice. Not a lot of decks you're super extra deck heavy. Well, at least that I've seen lately. It's been a lot more stun and stuff, so its usefulness kind of wax and wanes, but it is good to have, just have it ready to go. But yeah, so yeah, that was a fast profile. That's the full deck. But yeah, if you're new here, we just go over a few replays. I show you what I did good, what I did bad, cool combos, stuff like that. And yeah, but that being said, I'll see you guys in the first replay. Alright, welcome to the first replay. We were playing against Green Man 13, 100, 1 free, 126. We are York. Props, if you know that, being a Shakespeare reference. Hamlet, I believe. But yeah, so our opponent is going first, and he is playing Hand Trap Harpies. Yeah, so this is gonna be fun. Alright, but yeah, so he's going first. So he's just gonna do not a T pass, unfortunately. But yeah, he's setting Harpist. Uh, yeah, he didn't have a great hand. That's what happens when you play just all the hand traps and think it'll be good, though. So yeah, that's his own fault, I think. But we are going to have a much better turn. So the mythical Beast King Jackal, kind of unfortunate, but we do have the Sorcerer to go off of, so we will try to do that, but he's going to Ash it, unfortunately. However, we still do have a pretty high scale to go off of here, even if we cannot get exactly where we want to go. So we are going to get a couple Pendulum summons here. We're then going to try to activate Wild Wagon, get a few negate counters on our Beast King. However, it will be impermanent, unfortunately for us. But we did make Electromite, so that's pretty nice. Electromite's going to put the Mellow Madonna into the extra deck. Then we'll use his effect to pop the Wild Hope to get the Mellow Madonna back into our hand. And then the combo I mentioned in the deck profile earlier goes off. So we get a search off of Wild Hope, we grab Comic Relief, and then we get a draw off of the Electromite. So we got the Rise of the Abyss King, actually, so that's pretty good. Now I tried to activate Romantic Terror here to return the Comic Relief to my hand, special summon back out the Superstar to extend further beyond, but I did forget about the impermanence there, so that was my own fault, so we do not get to use the Romantic Terror, unfortunately. So we just move into the battle phase, get 1,000 damage in. We do get evenly matched. I leave the Comic Relief on the field, thinking I maybe could have left the Wild Wagon, but I do like having the Chump Blocker, so I think that's fine. But yeah, so we're just going to go ahead and set our Rise of the Abyss King in case he pops it to get a +2. So now he's going off with Harpies. He's going to summon that to get the Elegant Egotist. Elegant Egotist gets him Harpy Lady 1. So he's going to just attack over it. Thankfully, we did have the Mellow Madonna, though, so we can summon that for chump blocks. And his turn ends. But he does make a Baguska. So, that's happening. But yeah, but we did get another Mellow Madonna, so that's really good. So we're going to activate it, pay 1,000 to try to search. We will unfortunately get ashed. And then we will have to pass turn here because Rise of the Abyss King, you need face-up attack position Abyss actors, and we cannot switch because of that Baguska being so tired. So yeah, we're just gonna have to let it go to his turn. He does nothing. Let's see. Could he have done something here? I mean, yeah, actually, he could have done something here. He discarded, could have discarded Queen, added Hunting Ground, summon Harpist, pop Mellow Madonna. Yeah, that actually would have been really good. Um, but yeah, he didn't do that for reasons, I guess. So we get the opening ceremony. We're going to go ahead and search again. This time will not get negated. We activate the Comic Relief, so we now have a 0 to 7 scale, which is pretty good. We summon another Comic Relief to the field. Then we'll use our Pendulum Scale Comic Releases effect to target Baguska and to give ourselves a terribly tired taper. Uh, so we do lose the scale. However, unfortunately, his effect is negated because now we have the taper. Uh, so, but we will use Rise of the Abyss King to go ahead and pop his, well, still our Comic Relief. And because the Abyss Crypt spell is activated, Mellow Madonna will summon us something from deck. We get Wild Hope, and we'll use the effect to gain some attack points for itself. Use Opening Ceremony to gain those attack points back from the search earlier this turn. And now we just go in for some damage. Like that. So we're in a good position here. Wild Hope goes back to our hand because of its own effect. So our opponent uses Infinite Permanence on our Mellow Madonna because you cannot target the Taper while it's in attack mode. And at that point, there was really nothing our boy here could have done. So yeah, that's kind of some of the cool stuff that this deck can actually do, like with its support and stuff. And I have had a lot of fun with it. Feels bad for our hand trap player, but you know that's what happens when you just load your deck with hand traps. Sometimes you don't have enough actual plays to push for game or anything. But yeah, that was the first replay. Second replay is coming up here in a second. I will see you guys there. Alright, welcome to the second replay with McShane. He is playing Kristrons and going first. And we have opened horribly. Uh, the best we can do with this hand is get two searches that won't lead us to any sort of plays. But I don't know, we'll see how this works out, I guess. So our opponent is going first. He's going to go ahead and set up his Crystron plays. So, you know, doing the standard Crystron stuff, making a needle fiber. You know, the archetype that it was actually built for. But yeah, that's basically what Crystron does. Set up for disruptive synchro summonings during your opponent's turn. However, we are going to go, and we do the superstar, so we can make a few plays. However, we know about Kristrons. We know that he can Black Rose during our turn. And let's actually check. Yeah, he has that. Okay, he's ready to go with that. You know, he is ready to disrupt us if he can. So we have to play around that. So we're going to start with the Fantastic Feeder. Use it to go ahead and get a search. He brings out the Quandax. So we're getting another Rise of the Abyss King. We will be activating Madonna to get a search. The Comic Relief. Activate Comic Relief. Pendulum Summon the Superstar. Set a couple. Activate Rise of the Abyss King to go ahead and try to pop that Quandax. Quandax will try to revive Citri. However, Citri will just pop our card. See, what I did here was I didn't want him to get too much advantage to work with, so I set the Abyss scripts first in order to make the first effect, like say the Synchro Summon or the Revival, just pop a back row. So yeah, I think that was pretty smart of me to do. I was very excited about that. So we're attacking his tuner, and we're passing it up to him. He is going to set up for some more plays. He tries to use a effect. However, again, that just pops back row. We don't get any advantage from it because we don't have any face-up Abyss Actor Pendulum monsters. But it is better than him getting his effects. So he's going to make Needle Fiber again, summon the Rion, get a token, and he's in an okay spot here. So the Chronograph Sorcerer, uh, can't really do much of it. So we're going to go ahead and activate Superstars effect to set a Abyss script from the deck. So we set that first. And then we activate Rise of the Abyss King to go ahead and pop his tuner. So we use Mellow Madonna's effect. He, for whatever reason, Veilered our Superstar. I really don't know why he did that. That was a weird play on his part. But we're getting our search regardless. And he quit right after that. But yeah, so that's kind of the way that the deck can go second and set it to protect itself. You just have to like be willing to set first. No, it's pretty good. And in a second here, in the last replay, this is coming up in a minute here, we're gonna see the deck going first. It's gone second so far, but while it is less likely to make first turn plays, it still can. So I'll see you guys there. Alright, going to the final replay of player. He is playing what appears to be pure Subterror. Let me double check real fast. Yeah, this is pure Subterror. Pretty neat stuff. I didn't realize it was pure. But free abstract. Oh, he just has free behemoth. Why? Why though? Okay, I'm forgetting that for now. But yeah, so we are going first in the replay, and we have opened up extremely well. But you know what? You're gonna see that in a second here. So let's get right into it. So we activate a Lure of Darkness first. We unfortunately did draw a Jackal King, so we got rid of it. It's kind of dead in the hand, so not gonna worry about that. So we activate Curtain Riser, get him on the field, normal summon our Comic Relief to get the Electromite. Electromite puts Wild Hope into the extra deck. Now we activate Superstar to pop it and get back our Comic Relief. We get a draw because of that. Thankfully, we were able to actually draw into Cerberus, and with empty scales, we activate it to search another King Jackal. Then we will just Pendulum Summon. So yeah, now we have a King Jackal on the field, which is pretty good. We also have the Wild Hope and a Superstar, whose effect we're going to use to get a Opening Ceremony, which we'll then activate to gain some life points and put a negate on our King Jackal. And then we're going to go ahead and make Zephyr Metal draw and just, I don't know, we can. It protects our Superstar, so it's fine. And we will go ahead and get a search in case scales get popped. We are adding another Comic Relief to hand. We will then set the Romantic Terror to have that ready to go in case it can be popped. And it's active because we have Pendulum Monsters face up. So this is the deck kind of going first. Again, you kind of have to open like super perfectly to do stuff like this, but it is possible. So this is a pretty good board, I'd say. That is our Subterror opponent's turn. He's going to go ahead and grab the Hidden City. Hidden City gets him Guru. He activates Upstart to draw some more. We're getting so many negates on our King Jackal, or Jackal King. So he's going to set the Guru, and then he's going to set these two and pass it up. I think he could have gotten another search. I'm not really sure though. But yeah, so it's going to be our turn now. I figured that's the Guru because what else do they play? So we're going to activate the normal summon Comic Relief, activate Comic Relief in the Scales effect to trade them. He does activate the succession to get a search. So we did steal his Guru, and he just quit after that because we stole the Guru. But yeah, so that's the deck being able to make some amount of first turn plays. It's I don't know. Going first, it's not the greatest deck in the world, but it can do stuff with proper engine cards and being able to and the field spell, the Playhouse, also helps a lot because you can set up sort of effect changes. But yeah, so this deck I love this deck because it's kind of weird. It does a lot of fun things that people might not necessarily expect. They have a lot of good in archetype support, nothing that would say like break the meta, I guess, but it is still very fun to play around with. And I really like this build, but let me know if you guys have better builds because I would love to improve this deck. And yeah, if you have any deck requests, let me know. I'd be happy to try them out. I'd try my hand at building them if I could. And yeah, that being said, like if you liked, comment if you have something to say, and subscribe if you want some more. This has been Ronin, signing off.